Hey everybody, this is Dr. Flight. I hope you're doing well today. I just want to provide a short video. We're going to have 4 different key points today, and this is what I'm going to call the weekly roundup for everybody who's in the class. And so my goal is to have a very short just announcement video that I send out to you when we start new material and on a weekly basis. So it's the weekly roundup, and this is for marketing strategy. Again, I want to welcome you into the class. We are now officially in the semester, one day. And so I want to outline some of the things and just make sure we're all on the same page together. And obviously, if you have questions, send them my way. I'd love to touch base with you. But number one, this is Thursday, the 24th. And so as we progress through the term, I know this is going to seem a little unusual, but what we're going to do is we'll start our content week on Thursdays. So today would be the first day of the week, I guess. I know that seems odd being an online class. Part of the challenge is I'm syncing this class up with my face-to-face class, and we meet on Thursdays. So every Thursday we have a whole bunch of new material to cover. And so since it's an arbitrary day, we'll start on Thursday, and the material we'll work through will be new on Thursday each week. And then we'll go through the week and conclude on Wednesdays. So if you feel like you want to get your work done and studying and assignments and such done on the weekend, that's perfectly fine. Some of the things will be due on Wednesdays. Some will be due maybe on Thursdays, but either way, I know that's an odd sequencing, but the term technically started yesterday on Wednesday, so it would have been weird anyways. So as we go forward, you can kind of expect me to work off of a Thursday through Wednesday type of a week. We'll have 16 weeks throughout the term, and that's how long the semester is. And we'll meet for some of those, or we'll have content for most of those, and we'll have some other activities and things to do as well. So that's point number one. Point number two is I want to just open up Moodle real quick, which I'll do here on the screen, and hopefully you can see this as a Moodle page. Please let me know if you're having difficulties with Moodle. Let me know right away. We've had challenges all week with it crashing in particular. And so I've had, not me, but a lot of folks have had difficulty loading and uploading material, and there have been delays in getting that done. So bear with us a little bit with that, but you should be able to access Moodle, and it'll probably look a little bit like this. So just walking through this, if you haven't done this yet, the start here is always a good place if you want to use these tiles. The other thing is along the left-hand banner, you have all of these as well. You have grades, the start here, reflection tabs, and all of those things. So just a quick tutorial. If you haven't done this, feel free to go ahead and do this. And I'll be quick because I know you probably have looked at this already. But we have a little bit of an introduction to the course. We have an introduction video, which my guess is I've emailed that to you. And then we have a syllabus. Eventually, here in another week or so, we'll also have a schedule which will outline this entire semester in terms of our outlined schedule. I have most of that finished. There are some bits and pieces I'm still kind of tweaking and getting in place. So we're going to look at that a little bit more here in just a moment. But this start here is where you're going to find that syllabus and then that schedule as well. All right, as we move along, other materials that you'll be interested in looking at, we have, if you've looked at the schedule or the syllabus and you've looked at our assignments, you know we have a weekly reflection. This is a reflection on the work we just did. So our first reflection is due next week. So you'll see it's due Thursday, August 31st at 6 o'clock. So that would include material your reading from this week and any type of PowerPoints or lectures you look at. That would include anything that we did this week, week 1, and you're reflecting back on it. Okay, so this is one where it's due when the week concludes, which would, again, would be next week. So that's the weekly reflection. We have those most weeks. There are 10 or 11 of those throughout the course. We also have weekly discussion forums. Now, the discussion forums happen during the week. They're not reflective, thinking about last week's material. They're current, thinking about this week's material. As of right now, this week, week 1, we do not have a discussion. I felt like it was just too soon to start a discussion. So we're not going to start one this week, but we will have one starting next week. So that's why when you click into this, there's really nothing there quite yet. But we'll have that up there ready to go for you next week before we hit Thursday. And again, Thursday is the start time that you'll expect to see some of that stuff for the current week. Case assignments, kind of the same thing. We have 4 case assignments throughout the year. There's not a case assignment due yet. There are some articles here, though, that talk about why casework is important in terms of your critical thinking skills and stuff like that. So that's kind of like for your information material there. It's not an assignment. It's not part of an assignment. We just simply don't have one due for quite a while, so there's nothing there yet. Next tab over, our project page. We will have a project. You will be in groups doing that project. We're going to introduce that next week. Again, it'll be in the weekly roundup or in a separate video that I have out to you. But the project will be something it'll be a main focus of the course. So we have our own little tab. We're just not quite ready to do anything with that yet, so there's nothing there. Next tab, this week's work. So each week we have a tab, and this week's work is here. So we talk about what we're doing this week. We're talking about the role of marketing in the firm. We're talking about markets, value proposition, and exchanges in particular. So there's some videos, or there will be some videos, excuse me, on that material. There are PowerPoints on that material. There's also some readings here that help us focus on that material as well, beyond what the textbook has. Okay, so this is kind of what you can expect each week. You're going to see something that looks a little bit like this. There will be some videos, like I say, to help guide you, and we'll begin to get those up there as quickly as possible. So all your material for each week should be contained therein. And that's how you kind of navigate Moodle. You can, again, look at grades here. Right now, there's only one item, the reflection, because that's really all I have in there right now. The reflection due next week would be your first graded item that you'd have, and you're reflecting again back on your week 1 readings. And you can look at that, and you can kind of, again, ask questions if you have any questions, and things of that nature as well. Okay, so that's Moodle. I'm going to be using announcements to make announcements on posting things. We'll also use Teams to get you into Teams and some things like that. So we'll work our way through that. If you click on other tiles, there's not going to be a lot of material up there yet. And ideally, especially with an online class, these will populate, and I'll have material in here pretty aggressively at some point. So if you want to work ahead, you'll be able to do that. That's the goal anyways, to help facilitate your learning process if you, again, want to move forward. Okay, so that's step number 2 of today's weekly roundup. The number 3 item I'd like to talk about just briefly is the schedule. So I'm going to pull up what I sent to you again the other day. This is something that will be more complete, so we'll have a detailed schedule for all of our 16 weeks. I only have right now presented to you, though, the first week. Week 0 is not a week. It's just, hey, before the class starts, here's some things you can do. And then week 1, of course, is what we're in now. So you can see chapter 1, these are the items that we're more or less talking about in chapter 1 of the text. Remember, we have a supplemental textbook, chapter 1 of that. It's open access, so be sure to make sure you're comfortable with the marketing terms we're talking about. And if you're not, then go back to that principles book just for a refresher. Some readings here, certainly the Encyclopedia Britannica reading and also the pencil reading. So these two readings here, I would suggest you focus on this week, and also this exchange theory paper. It's optional, but these would be the good items to incorporate in that reflection that you have. That it will be due right here. So we have a reflection again, due right there. It's due next week. We do not have any work on our project. We do not have a case this week, and we are not going to have this week a discussion forum, but we will next week. So that's why there's a none there, but we will have that due next week. Okay, and this is how you read the schedule. This is kind of how we do. Now, this creative monopoly and Coas's theory of the firm, we're really going to probably do that another week. So that's why I say don't worry about placing a lot of emphasis on those this week. The key here is with Encyclopedia Britannica and pencil paper, these are examples or articles of companies that have had to define the value that they bring to the marketplace. And that's why they're good to read. Now, moving forward, just so you know, moving forward, the readings that we have will directly tie into the discussion forum that we create. So in other words, in future weeks, the discussion prompts will be based on these readings over here. Okay, so like if we were a face-to-face class, we'd have these readings and then we'd have an in-class discussion. We had an in-class opportunity to work on this material and to understand. They're like mini cases a little bit. And so we would have a guided discussion in class for, 30 or 45 minutes for these readings. And so since we're in an online environment, those readings are going to be something that we do and that we discuss in a forum setting. Okay, so that's the kind of how you read this and how you'll look through this. And again, this is a weekly type of a thing. And as we get weeks populated, the materials will be on Moodle to correspond with that. This week, this is what we've got. And again, not to overplay it, but Moodle was crashing all week, and so there have been some hiccups along the way, but those are being resolved, and so we should be in good shape. So number 4, last thing I'm going to leave you with on the weekly roundup this week is just simply reach out to me if you have any questions. We're virtual, so I can meet with you on Zoom. I'm here in the building on campus a lot, so if you're ever on campus, we can meet in person, but we can certainly meet on Zoom. We can schedule time. We could email back and forth, really whatever works for you to help answer any questions and kind of go from there. Okay, we can use Teams as well, I suppose. I'm not, so we could work on that technology as well. So anyways, weekly roundup is rounded up. Again, let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to hearing from you and kicking off a great semester.